Welcome, history fanatics and connoisseurs of the utterly bizarre, to History Haze. I'm your host, and today we're diving headfirst into a story so wild, so improbable, you'd swear I made it up. But trust me, every ridiculous detail of this man's life is absolutely true. We're talking about Timothy Dexter, the self-proclaimed Lord Timothy Dexter of Newburyport, Massachusetts. Get ready to meet the luckiest idiot in history. Timothy Dexter wasn't born into wealth or privilege. Nope, our story begins in 1747, when he was born into a rather humble family. He had virtually no education, and his early career path? A leather dresser. Yes, someone who prepared animal hides. Not exactly the typical start for a man who would become one of America's wealthiest eccentrics. But Timothy had ambition, albeit a rather misguided kind. He married a wealthy widow, Elizabeth Frothingham, which immediately gave him access to capital. And what did he do with this newfound fortune? He decided to become a merchant. Now, Timothy Dexter wasn't exactly known for his business acumen. In fact, he was known for the exact opposite. He made what seemed like spectacularly terrible business decisions, often against the advice of everyone around him. His first stroke of insane luck came when, against all sound advice, he decided to invest heavily in continental currency during the American Revolutionary War. Everyone, and I mean everyone, told him it was worthless paper, destined to collapse. But Timothy, in his infinite, something, bought mountains of it. And then a miracle. After the war, the currency was redeemed at 1% of its face value. This was still an astronomical sum given how much he had purchased. Timothy Dexter, the leather dresser with no sense, was now incredibly rich. People were flabbergasted. Was it genius? Was it madness? Or just pure, unadulterated dumb luck? But Timothy wasn't done defying logic. His next ventures were even more absurd. He once shipped bed warmers, those long-handled pans used to heat beds in winter, to the West Indies, in the Caribbean, where it's famously hot. Everyone predicted ruin. But by some twist of fate, the bed warmers were bought up instantly by merchants who repurposed them as ladles for molasses factories. He made a massive profit. And he wasn't done. He then sent coal to Newcastle, England, a place famous for producing coal. Logic dictated this was financial suicide. Yet his timing was impeccable. A coal miner strike in Newcastle meant his shipment arrived just as local supplies were dwindling. He sold the entire cargo for a huge profit. The man was like an accidental Midas. Everything he touched, no matter how foolish, turned to gold. His crowning glory of stupidity turned genius was shipping mittens to the East Indies. Again, a tropical climate. Again, everyone thought he was mad. It turns out an Asian merchant brought them all, intending to resell them to traders heading north to Siberia. Another fortune made. By this point, people weren't just confused. They were convinced he had some kind of dark magic. Timothy's wealth grew, and with it, his eccentricities. He purchased a magnificent estate and adorned it with 40 statues of famous Americans, including George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and even himself, prominently labeled, "I am the first in the East, the first in the West, and the greatest philosopher in the Western world." Oh, and 2 lions, made of wood, to guard his entrance. He even faked his own death just to see how people would react. He held a mock funeral, and when his wife didn't cry enough, he reportedly beat her for her lack of grief. Charming fellow, our Timothy. But perhaps the most famous testament to his bizarre mind is his book, A Pickle for the Knowing Ones. It was a rambling, incoherent mess, full of misspellings, random capitalization, and absolutely no punctuation. He published it at his own expense and distributed it widely. The public, naturally, complained about the lack of punctuation. So in the second edition, Timothy added an entire page of nothing but punctuation marks. He told readers they could pepper and salt it as they please. Genius. Pure, unadulterated, accidental genius. Timothy Dexter died in 1806, leaving behind a legacy of unbelievable luck, questionable intelligence, and truly epic eccentricity. He proved that sometimes, in history, it's not about what you know, but about being in the right place at the right time, even if you got there by the most illogical means possible. So, what do you think? Was Timothy Dexter a secret genius playing a long game, or just the luckiest fool who ever lived? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to History Haze for more wild tales, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next dive into the strange corners of the past. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next haze.